When you disappear from the noise, something powerful happens, not just in your life, but in the hearts and minds of the people who once had constant access to you. This is about stepping back, not out of bitterness, not to punish, but to protect your peace and reclaim your energy. When you stop explaining yourself, stop overgiving, and stop chasing validation, the world responds in ways you may never see, but you will absolutely feel. Disappearing is not about anger, revenge, or proving a point to anyone else. It is a conscious decision to step away from what drains your energy so you can preserve what truly matters. When you stop overextending yourself, stop being available at the cost of your own peace, and stop explaining your worth, you begin to protect your inner world. This kind of disappearance is not dramatic or loud. It is quiet, intentional, and deeply respectful to yourself. It is the moment you realize that your well-being does not need permission from anyone else, and that choosing yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. For many people, especially later in life, this realization comes after years of giving, fixing, and accommodating others, while slowly neglecting their own needs. Disappearing becomes an act of wisdom, not withdrawal. It is the understanding that your time, energy, and health are limited resources, and that protecting them is a form of self-respect. Instead of reacting to every demand or expectation, you respond with discernment. You begin to ask yourself whether something adds value to your life or quietly takes it away, and that awareness alone changes everything. When you disappear in this way, you are not shutting people out. You are letting yourself in. You create space to hear your own thoughts without constant noise and obligation. In that space, your nervous system begins to settle, your breathing slows, and your body feels safer. This safety is essential for healing, especially as the body ages and becomes more sensitive to stress. Protecting your peace directly supports your physical health, your digestion, your sleep, and your immune system. Even if it starts with something as simple as saying no or not responding immediately. Disappearing also allows you to reconnect with your body's natural rhythms. You begin to notice when you are tired, when you are hungry, and when you need movement rather than pressure. Instead of forcing yourself to keep up with unrealistic expectations, you choose gentle consistency. A quiet walk, a nourishing meal, a moment of stillness become powerful acts of care. These small choices are easier to make when you are no longer consumed by external demands, and they quietly rebuild your strength from the inside out. This kind of disappearance teaches you that you do not need to be constantly visible to be valuable. Your worth does not increase with overexposure or constant availability. In fact, it often deepens when you honor your limits. You begin to trust yourself more because you are no longer abandoning your needs for approval. That trust grows into confidence, and that confidence allows you to show up later with clarity rather than resentment. Most importantly, disappearing in this way reminds you that peace is something you actively choose, not something you wait for others to give you. It is a commitment to protect your energy, your health, and your future. It is the understanding that by stepping back from what exhausts you, you are stepping closer to a life that feels balanced, sustainable, and deeply aligned with who you are becoming. Silence has a power that words often dilute, especially when it arrives after you stop explaining yourself and stop filling every gap with effort. When you step back and allow silence to exist, it becomes a mirror that reflects what your presence once contributed. People begin to feel the absence of your voice, your support, and your consistency, and in that quiet space, recognition begins to form. Silence is not weakness or avoidance. It is a deliberate pause that allows truth to surface without resistance. For you, silence is not about disappearing into loneliness. It is about creating a sanctuary where your nervous system can finally rest. Years of constant interaction, obligation, and emotional labor can keep the body in a state of tension without you even realizing it. When the noise fades, your body responds almost immediately. Your shoulders soften, your breathing deepens, and your thoughts slow down. This calm is not accidental. It is the result of stepping away from overstimulation and choosing peace as a daily priority. As silence stretches, it restores something deeper than rest. It restores clarity. Without external voices pulling at your attention, you begin to hear your own inner guidance again. You notice what truly satisfies you and what quietly exhausts you. This awareness makes it easier to choose nourishing foods instead of convenience, to drink water instead of rushing past thirst, and to move your body in ways that feel supportive rather than punishing. Silence gives you the space to listen to your body's signals, which become more important and more valuable with age. In the quiet, habits naturally begin to shift. You may find yourself enjoying slower mornings, more mindful meals, and gentle movement that reconnects you with your strength rather than testing it. A simple walk becomes more than exercise. It becomes a conversation between your body and your mind. Without constant noise, these moments feel richer and more intentional, reinforcing the idea that health does not require intensity, only consistency and care. Silence also strengthens emotional boundaries. When you are no longer reacting immediately or filling every pause, you stop absorbing stress that does not belong to you. This emotional distance is not coldness, it is protection. It allows you to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively, preserving energy that can be invested in your own growth and healing. Over time, this creates a sense of inner stability that feels grounding and empowering. Perhaps the most profound effect of silence is how it reconnects you with your sense of worth. When validation is no longer constantly sought or given, you begin to measure your life by how it feels rather than how it looks. Peace becomes more important than approval. Contentment becomes more valuable than attention. This shift in mindset is especially powerful later in life, when health, balance, and joy matter more than proving anything to anyone. Silence is not empty, it is full of restoration. It reminds you that you do not need to be loud to be seen or constantly present to matter. By allowing silence to exist, you give yourself the gift of renewal, clarity, and calm. In that quiet space, your energy returns, your mind clears, and your life begins to move at a pace that feels sustainable, meaningful, and deeply respectful of who you are now when you step back from constant availability. Something shifts in the people around you, often in ways they never expected. Your absence creates a contrast that highlights what used to be invisible when it was always there. The care, attention, and reliability you offered may have blended into the background over time, not because it lacked value, but because familiarity can dull appreciation. When you are no longer filling every space, others are left to sit with that difference, and in that space, awareness begins to grow. This recognition is not something you need to announce or demand. It happens naturally when effort is no longer automatic. People start to notice the gaps you once filled, the emotional support you quietly provided, and the steadiness you brought into situations. Your stepping back becomes a lesson in value, teaching that what is consistently given can easily be overlooked until it is no longer there. This is not about making anyone feel guilty, it is about allowing reality to speak for itself. While others are coming to these realizations, you are gaining something just as important, the freedom to redirect your energy inward. Instead of pouring yourself out, you begin to conserve and invest in your own well-being. This shift is especially meaningful as life progresses, when energy becomes more precious and recovery matters more than output. The time you reclaim allows you to slow down, nourish your body properly, and move with intention rather than urgency. As you focus on yourself, You begin to rebuild a relationship with your body that may have been neglected. You eat with more awareness, choosing foods that support digestion and energy instead of rushing through meals. You recognize that nourishment is not just about calories, but about care. Gentle movement becomes part of your day, not as a task to complete, but as a way to stay connected to your strength, balance, and mobility. These small, consistent choices quietly reinforce your sense of self-worth. Your absence also teaches you an important emotional lesson. You do not need to overexplain your boundaries for them to be valid. When you stop justifying your need for space, you allow others to confront their own expectations. Some may respond with understanding, others with discomfort, but neither response should pull you back into overgiving. Respect grows when boundaries are maintained calmly and consistently, and that respect often begins with the way you treat yourself. Over time, stepping back changes the dynamic of your relationships. Interactions become more intentional, more balanced, and more honest. You show up not because you feel obligated, but because you choose to. This choice-based presence feels lighter and more authentic, reducing resentment and emotional fatigue. It allows you to bring a calmer energy into your interactions, one that is grounded in self-respect rather than sacrifice. Most importantly, your absence reminds you that your value was never dependent on how much you gave or how often you were available. It existed long before you stepped back, and it remains whether others recognize it immediately or not. By allowing people to feel the space you once filled, you affirm your own worth and protect your future. In doing so, you create a life that feels more balanced, sustainable, and aligned with your needs, honoring both your relationships and your well-being in a healthier, more enduring way. When you reclaim time that was once spent meeting constant demands, you begin to discover how much of yourself had been placed on hold. The moments you used to rush through now open up into opportunities for rest, reflection, and care. This reclaimed time is not meant to be filled immediately with new obligations. It is meant to be protected so your body and mind can recover from years of overextension. In this space, you begin to understand that rest is not laziness, it is restoration. With more time available, nourishment becomes intentional rather than rushed. You start to notice how food affects your energy, mood, and digestion, especially as your body changes with age. Preparing a simple, balanced meal becomes a meaningful ritual rather than a chore. You eat more slowly, allowing your body to register fullness and satisfaction. This mindful approach to eating supports better health, steadier energy, and a deeper sense of respect for your body's needs. Reclaimed time also allows you to reconnect with movement in a gentler, more supportive way. Instead of pushing yourself to exhaustion or avoiding movement altogether, you find balance. A daily walk, light stretching, or simple strength exercises become part of your routine. These moments of movement are not about performance. They are about circulation, flexibility, and maintaining independence. Over time, these small habits strengthen your body while also calming your mind. As you step into a slower rhythm, your sleep begins to improve. Without constant mental stimulation or late-night obligations, your nervous system has a chance to unwind. Going to bed earlier, waking up more refreshed, and honoring natural sleep cycles become possible. Quality rest plays a powerful role in hormone balance, memory, and immune health, making it one of the most valuable benefits of reclaiming your time. This newly available space also supports emotional nourishment. You begin to notice when stress arises and address it before it settles into your body. Simple practices like deep breathing, quiet reflection, or gratitude become easier to maintain when you are not constantly rushed. These moments of emotional care strengthen resilience and help you respond to challenges with greater calm and clarity. Reclaimed time gives you the freedom to establish healthier lifestyle habits without pressure. You are no longer trying to force change into an already overloaded schedule. Instead, you allow habits to develop naturally and sustainably. Drinking more water, spending time outdoors, and maintaining daily routines become achievable and enjoyable. Consistency replaces intensity, and this consistency is what leads to lasting change. Perhaps the most important gift of reclaimed time is the shift in mindset it creates. You begin to see your life not as something to endure, but as something to nurture. You recognize that caring for yourself now is an investment in your future well-being. Each small choice compounds, supporting vitality, clarity, and balance as the years move forward. Reclaiming your time is ultimately an act of self-respect. It allows you to prioritize rest, nourishment, and movement without guilt. In doing so, you create a life that feels calmer, healthier, and more aligned with who you are becoming, proving that when you step back from constant demands, you step forward into a more sustainable and fulfilling way of living. Gentle daily movement is one of the most powerful ways to rebuild trust and respect with your body, especially after years of pushing, ignoring, or criticizing it. Instead of demanding performance, gentle movement invites cooperation. It sends a message to your body that you are no longer trying to control or punish it, but care for it. This shift in approach changes everything because the body responds far better to consistency and kindness than to force. When movement becomes gentle and intentional, it no longer feels like an obligation. A short walk, light stretching, or slow strengthening exercises become moments of connection rather than tasks to complete. You begin to notice how your joints feel, how your breathing adjusts, and how your balance improves. These small observations build awareness, and awareness builds trust. Over time, your body learns that movement is safe, supportive, and beneficial, not exhausting or harmful. For older adults, this kind of movement is especially important. The goal is not intensity or comparison, but preservation and vitality. Gentle exercise supports circulation, joint health, posture, and muscle tone without overwhelming the nervous system. It reduces stiffness, improves mobility, and helps maintain independence. When movement feels manageable, it becomes sustainable, and sustainability is what creates long-term results. Respect for the body grows when you listen instead of override. On days when energy is lower, you adjust rather than quit. On days when you feel stronger, you move a little more. This flexibility strengthens self-trust because you are honoring your body's signals instead of dismissing them. Each time you choose to move in a way that feels good, you reinforce the belief that your body is working with you, not against you. Gentle movement also has a profound effect on the mind. It reduces stress hormones, improves mood, and brings a sense of calm focus. A quiet walk outdoors or a few minutes of stretching can shift your mental state more effectively than pushing through exhaustion. This calm becomes part of your daily rhythm, helping you respond to life with greater patience and clarity. As respect for your body grows, so does your confidence. You begin to trust what your body can do instead of fearing what it cannot. Improvements may be subtle at first, but they are meaningful. Better balance, less discomfort, deeper breathing, and improved sleep all reinforce the value of showing up for your body consistently. These changes remind you that progress does not have to be dramatic to be real. Gentle daily movement becomes a form of self-respect because it acknowledges your body's history and honors its future. It recognizes that your body has carried you through every stage of life and deserves care, not criticism. By moving with intention and kindness, you strengthen the partnership between your body and mind. That partnership becomes the foundation for lasting health, resilience, and a sense of quiet confidence that grows stronger with each passing day. Healthy eating becomes truly transformative when it is rooted in self-respect rather than restriction. For many people, food has long been associated with rules, guilt, and control, especially after years of trying to follow diets that promise quick results but leave the body depleted and the mind frustrated. When you shift your perspective and begin to see nourishment as an act of care, your relationship with food changes in a lasting and sustainable way. Eating with self-respect means listening to your body instead of fighting it. You begin to notice how different foods make you feel, not just immediately, but hours later. Energy levels, digestion, mood, and sleep all become feedback rather than problems to ignore. This awareness helps you choose foods that support your well-being without feeling deprived. You are no longer eating to meet an external standard, but to feel steady, clear, and supported in your daily life. Restriction often creates tension and rebellion, especially as the body ages and becomes less tolerant of extremes. Self-respect, on the other hand, creates balance. You allow yourself to enjoy food while also honoring what your body needs to function well. Meals become calmer and more intentional. You slow down, chew more thoroughly, and give your body time to recognize fullness. This simple shift improves digestion and helps prevent overeating without effort or punishment. As you practice respectful eating, nourishment extends beyond what is on your plate. Hydration becomes a priority, not an afterthought. You recognize that water supports joint health, circulation, and mental clarity. You choose foods that provide fiber, protein, and healthy fats because they help you feel satisfied and strong, not because you are following rigid rules. These choices build trust with your body, reinforcing the idea that you are taking care of it rather than controlling it. For older adults, this approach to eating is especially empowering. Nutrient-dense foods support muscle strength, bone health, and immune function, but they also support independence and quality of life. When eating is guided by respect, you are more likely to maintain steady energy and avoid the cycles of restriction and overindulgence that can disrupt metabolism and emotional well-being. Healthy eating rooted in self-respect also supports a positive mindset. When you stop labeling foods as good or bad, you reduce stress and mental clutter. Food becomes neutral and supportive rather than a source of conflict. This calm relationship with eating frees up mental energy that can be used for connection, creativity, and enjoyment of life. Most importantly, eating with self-respect reinforces your sense of worth. It sends a clear message to your body and mind that you deserve care, nourishment, and attention at every stage of life. This mindset makes healthy choices feel natural rather than forced. Over time, these respectful habits compound, supporting vitality, balance, and a deep sense of well-being that goes far beyond the plate and into every area of your life. Aging with intention means shifting from a mindset of resistance to one of cooperation with your body. Instead of trying to keep up with unrealistic standards or comparing yourself to younger versions of who you once were, you begin to listen more closely to what your body is asking for now. This listening is not passive. It is an active, respectful engagement that allows you to make choices that support strength, comfort, and longevity. As the body changes, its signals become more meaningful. Fatigue, stiffness, hunger, and restlessness are not inconveniences to push through. They are messages asking for attention. Aging with intention means responding thoughtfully rather than reactively. You adjust your pace, your meals, and your daily routines to match your current needs. This flexibility helps prevent injury, burnout, and unnecessary stress, allowing you to stay engaged with life in a sustainable way. Listening to the body also means redefining what progress looks like. Progress is no longer measured by intensity or speed, but by consistency and ease. Gentle movement, adequate rest, and proper nourishment become markers of success. You begin to value how your body feels during and after an activity, rather than how impressive it looks from the outside. This shift reduces pressure and creates a sense of safety that encourages regular, healthy habits. Intentional aging encourages you to work with your energy instead of against it. Some days you may feel more capable, and other days you may need more rest. Honoring these fluctuations builds trust with yourself. When you stop forcing productivity, your body often responds with improved resilience and clarity. This trust allows you to remain active and engaged without feeling depleted. This approach also strengthens emotional well-being. When you listen to your body, you reduce self-criticism and increase self-compassion. You begin to appreciate what your body has carried you through rather than focusing on what it no longer does easily. Gratitude replaces frustration, and this shift in mindset has a powerful effect on mental health, reducing anxiety and improving overall life satisfaction. Aging with intention means creating routines that support stability and ease. Regular meals, light exercise, consistent sleep, and moments of quiet reflection provide structure without rigidity. These routines help regulate stress and support cognitive health, making daily life feel more manageable and enjoyable. The body thrives on rhythm, and intentional routines create a sense of safety and predictability. Most importantly, aging with intention affirms that growth does not stop with age. Strength, flexibility, clarity, and joy can all continue to develop when you listen and respond with care. By honoring your body's signals, you preserve independence and vitality while also cultivating peace of mind. This way of living allows you to move forward with confidence, knowing that you are supporting your body rather than battling it, and that every stage of life deserves patience, respect, and thoughtful attention. Real and lasting change rarely comes from dramatic overhauls or extreme decisions. It comes from small, consistent actions repeated with patience and compassion. When lifestyle changes are gentle and realistic, they fit naturally into daily life instead of disrupting it. This approach removes pressure and replaces it with steadiness, making healthy habits easier to maintain over time, especially as energy and priorities shift with age. Compassion plays a central role in sustainable change. When you stop criticizing yourself for past choices or temporary setbacks, you create an environment where growth can actually occur. Instead of viewing missed days or imperfect efforts as failures, you see them as part of the process. This mindset encourages you to return to healthy habits without guilt, reinforcing consistency rather than perfection. Small changes build confidence. Choosing to walk for 10 minutes, drink more water, or go to bed slightly earlier may seem insignificant at first, but these actions send a powerful message to your mind and body that you are capable of caring for yourself. Each small success reinforces trust, making it easier to build upon those habits gradually. Over time, these choices compound, leading to noticeable improvements in energy, mobility, and mood. Consistency also reduces stress. When habits are simple and repeatable, they require less mental effort and decision making. This ease is especially important later in life when conserving energy becomes a priority. Simple routines like regular mealtimes, gentle exercise, and daily moments of rest provide structure without rigidity, allowing you to feel supported rather than overwhelmed. Compassionate lifestyle changes honor your current reality. They acknowledge limitations without defining you by them. On days when energy is low, you adjust instead of quitting. On days when motivation is higher, you gently expand. This flexibility keeps habits alive and prevents the all, or nothing thinking that often leads to burnout or abandonment of healthy routines. When changes are made with kindness, they also support emotional well-being. You begin to associate self-care with comfort rather than pressure. Healthy habits feel like choices you get to make, not rules you have to follow. This positive association strengthens commitment and reduces resistance, making it more likely that changes will last. Lifestyle changes that are consistent and compassionate also support physical health in a balanced way. Gradual improvements in nutrition, movement, sleep, and stress management allow the body to adapt without shock. This reduces the risk of injury, exhaustion, or discouragement, particularly for older adults who benefit most from stability and moderation. Over time, these gentle changes reshape your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who cares for their health in practical, realistic ways. This self-image reinforces behavior, creating a positive cycle of action and belief. Rather than chasing quick results, you invest in habits that support long-term vitality and independence. Consistency and compassion together create a foundation for meaningful change. They remind you that progress does not need to be fast or dramatic to be real. By choosing small steps and treating yourself with patience, you create a lifestyle that feels supportive, sustainable, and aligned with your well-being, allowing healthy habits to grow naturally and remain part of your life for years to come when you step away from constant involvement. Reflection begins to unfold on both sides, often quietly and without confrontation. Your absence creates space for others to consider their expectations, their behavior, and the roles they have relied on you to fill. Without your immediate presence, familiar patterns are disrupted, and that disruption invites awareness. People start to notice what changed, what is missing, and what they may have overlooked when everything felt automatic. This reflection is not something you need to guide or manage. It happens naturally when effort is no longer supplied without limit. Others are left to evaluate how much they depended on your consistency, support, or availability. Some may recognize the value you brought into their lives, while others may simply feel the discomfort of adjustment. Either way, the process belongs to them, not to you. At the same time, stepping back creates an opportunity for your own reflection, which is often even more important. Without the constant pull of external demands, you begin to examine your habits, boundaries, and priorities with greater clarity. You start to notice where your energy has been going and whether those choices have truly supported your well-being. This self-reflection allows you to make adjustments that feel intentional rather than reactive. In this quieter space, you may become more aware of how your body responds to stress and rest. You notice how certain routines affect your sleep, digestion, and mood. This awareness encourages more mindful choices, such as eating at regular times, choosing foods that leave you feeling steady, and moving your body in ways that reduce tension rather than create it. Reflection becomes a practical tool for improving daily life. Emotional patterns also come into focus. You may recognize tendencies to overgive, avoid conflict, or seek approval. Seeing these patterns without judgment gives you the power to change them gently. Reflection does not demand perfection, it simply invites honesty. From that honesty, healthier boundaries begin to form naturally, supported by a deeper understanding of your own needs. As both sides reflect, the dynamic of relationships begins to shift. Interactions that resume later may feel different, more balanced, or more intentional. You may notice that you are less reactive and more grounded, able to choose how and when you engage. This clarity helps protect your energy while also allowing for more meaningful connection. Reflection also supports a more positive mindset. When you understand yourself better, you are less likely to criticize or blame. You see growth as a process rather than a destination. This perspective is especially valuable later in life when reflection can bring wisdom, acceptance, and a renewed sense of purpose. Ultimately, reflection created by absence is not about distance, it is about awareness. It allows others to see what was present and allows you to see what is needed. This mutual understanding, even when unspoken, creates space for healthier choices, clearer boundaries, and a more balanced way of living that honors both your relationships and your well-being as you move forward with greater intention and self-respect. A positive mind. It is not something that appears all at once or stays in place without effort. It is shaped gradually through the choices you make each day. It is built in quiet moments when you decide how to interpret challenges, how to speak to yourself, and how to respond to discomfort. Rather than forcing optimism or denying difficulty, a healthy mindset grows from honesty, patience, and repeated supportive actions. Daily choices influence the way your mind perceives the world. Choosing to pause before reacting, choosing to breathe deeply during stress, and choosing to focus on what is within your control all contribute to mental resilience. These small decisions may seem insignificant, but they accumulate over time, shaping the lens through which you experience life. With repetition, your mind learns to return to calm more easily and to see possibilities where it once saw obstacles. A positive mindset also develops through how you care for your body. Nourishing meals, gentle movement, and adequate rest directly affect mood and clarity. When the body is supported, the mind becomes more stable and responsive. This connection becomes increasingly important as you age, when physical well-being and emotional health are closely intertwined. Caring for your body is not separate from cultivating a positive mindset. It is one of its foundations. Thought patterns play a powerful role in shaping emotional well-being. Each time you replace self-criticism with understanding or impatience with curiosity, you strengthen a healthier mental habit. These shifts do not require dramatic affirmations, they require consistency. Speaking to yourself with kindness during ordinary moments creates a sense of inner safety that supports confidence and resilience. A positive mindset also grows through acceptance. Acceptance does not mean giving up or settling. It means acknowledging reality without resistance. When you accept where you are, you reduce internal conflict and conserve energy. This clarity allows you to make thoughtful choices that move you forward instead of reacting from frustration or fear. Acceptance creates a calm starting point for growth. Gratitude is another daily practice that shapes mindset over time. Noticing small comforts, moments of ease, or signs of progress helps balance the mind. Gratitude shifts attention away from what is lacking and toward what is present. This practice becomes especially valuable later in life, when appreciating stability, health, and meaningful connections brings depth and contentment. Building a positive mindset through daily choices also means allowing room for difficult emotions. Positivity is not about constant happiness. It is about trust in your ability to navigate challenges. When you allow emotions to pass without judgment, you strengthen emotional flexibility. This flexibility supports mental health and reduces the pressure to appear strong at all times. Over time, these repeated choices reshape your inner environment. You become more grounded, patient, and hopeful without forcing change. A positive mindset becomes less about thinking differently and more about living differently. By choosing supportive actions each day, you create a mental landscape that feels steadier, kinder, and more resilient, allowing you to move through life with greater clarity, confidence, and peace. Boundaries are often misunderstood as barriers that push people away, but in reality, they are quiet expressions of self-respect. When you establish boundaries, you are not demanding special treatment or creating conflict. You are simply honoring your limits. Quiet confidence grows when boundaries are set calmly and consistently, without explanation or apology. This kind of confidence does not seek approval. It comes from inner alignment. When boundaries are clear, your energy is protected. You no longer feel compelled to respond immediately, overextend yourself, or take responsibility for emotions that are not yours to carry. This protection allows your nervous system to relax, creating a sense of steadiness that others can feel. Quiet confidence is not loud or confrontational. It is grounded and composed, making your presence feel calm and assured. Setting boundaries also strengthens your relationship with yourself. Each time you honor your limits, you reinforce trust. You prove to yourself that your needs matter and that you are willing to support them. This self-trust becomes the foundation of confidence, especially later in life when emotional clarity and stability are more valuable than external validation. You begin to move through the world with less doubt and less internal conflict. Quiet confidence grows when boundaries are maintained with kindness rather than rigidity. You do not need to justify your choices or explain your reasons in detail. A simple no, a pause, or a change in availability is enough. This simplicity reduces emotional labor and prevents unnecessary tension. Over time, others learn how to engage with you based on the boundaries you consistently uphold. Boundaries also support healthier lifestyle habits. When you protect your time and energy, it becomes easier to prioritize rest, nourishment, and movement. You create space for routines that support your well-being instead of constantly reacting to external demands. This balance contributes to physical health, mental clarity, and emotional resilience, reinforcing your sense of confidence from the inside out. As boundaries settle into place, you may notice changes in your relationships. Some connections become more respectful and balanced, while others may fade. This shift is not a loss, it is a refinement. Relationships that align with your boundaries feel more authentic and less draining. This alignment allows you to engage more fully without resentment or exhaustion. Quiet confidence also influences how you respond to challenges. When you trust your boundaries, you are less likely to second, guess yourself, or seek reassurance. You respond thoughtfully rather than defensively, preserving your peace even in difficult situations. This composure is a direct result of knowing where you stand and honoring that position. Most importantly, boundaries remind you that self-respect is not conditional. It does not depend on how others react or whether they understand your choices. By maintaining boundaries with calm consistency, you send a powerful message to yourself that your well-being is a priority. This message strengthens inner confidence and creates a life that feels more balanced, intentional, and aligned with who you are becoming, allowing you to move forward with clarity, stability, and quiet strength. Light exercise, quality sleep, and simple daily routines may seem modest on their own, but together they create a powerful foundation for long-term vitality. These habits work quietly, building strength and stability over time without demanding extreme effort or constant motivation. Their true power lies in consistency because the body responds best to regular care rather than occasional intensity. Light exercise supports circulation, joint health, and muscle tone while protecting the nervous system from overload. Gentle movement such as walking, stretching, or light strength work keeps the body mobile and responsive. It reduces stiffness, improves balance, and helps maintain independence. When movement is approachable and enjoyable, it becomes easier to repeat daily, and repetition is what allows the body to adapt and grow stronger over time. Quality sleep is equally essential. Rest is when the body repairs tissues, regulates hormones, and consolidates memory. Without sufficient sleep, even the best nutrition and exercise routines lose their effectiveness. Establishing a simple bedtime routine, reducing stimulation in the evening, and honoring consistent sleep hours helps signal safety to the nervous system. Over time, better sleep improves energy, mood, and cognitive clarity, making it easier to maintain other healthy habits. Simple routines provide structure without rigidity. They reduce decision fatigue and create a sense of rhythm that supports emotional stability. Regular meal times, consistent movement, and predictable rest periods help the body feel grounded. This predictability is especially valuable as you age, when stability supports both physical health and mental well-being. Routines do not restrict freedom. They create a reliable framework that makes daily life feel more manageable. These habits also support emotional resilience. When your body is rested and gently active, your stress tolerance improves. You become more patient, focused, and adaptable. Small challenges feel easier to handle, and recovery from setbacks becomes quicker. This emotional steadiness reinforces confidence and reduces the mental strain that often accompanies inconsistency or burnout. The compounding effect of these habits is subtle but profound. You may not notice dramatic changes overnight, but over weeks and months, improvements accumulate. Increased stamina, improved posture, steadier energy, and better sleep quality become part of your daily experience. These changes reinforce motivation, making healthy habits feel rewarding rather than forced. For older adults, this approach is particularly powerful because it prioritizes sustainability. Light exercise protects joints and reduces injury risk, while consistent sleep supports cognitive and immune health. Simple routines allow you to care for yourself without pressure or complexity. Together, these habits create a balanced lifestyle that supports longevity and quality of life. The beauty of compounding habits is that they work quietly in the background. You do not need to chase results or constantly adjust your approach. By showing up each day in small, supportive ways, you allow your body and mind to strengthen naturally. Over time, these steady practices create a sense of vitality and confidence that feels earned and enduring, reminding you that lasting health is built through gentle consistency and care repeated day after day. Growth does not end with age. It simply changes its form and its pace. When balance replaces extremes, progress becomes sustainable and deeply meaningful. Instead of pushing yourself to prove something or chasing results that come at the cost of well-being, you begin to focus on what supports you long-term. This shift allows growth to continue without exhaustion, frustration, or constant pressure. Balance honors both effort and rest. It recognizes that the body and mind need recovery as much as stimulation. Extreme approaches may create short-term changes, but they often lead to burnout or injury, especially later in life. Balanced habits allow you to move forward steadily, protecting your energy while still encouraging improvement. This approach respects your current reality while keeping the door open for growth. When growth is balanced, it becomes adaptable. You adjust your routines based on how you feel rather than forcing rigid plans. This flexibility strengthens self-trust because you are listening and responding rather than ignoring signals. Balanced growth allows you to remain engaged with life even as circumstances change, maintaining momentum without strain. Physical growth through balance looks like gentle strength building, regular movement, and adequate rest. Instead of aiming for intensity, you aim for consistency. These choices support joint health, muscle maintenance, and mobility, all of which contribute to independence and confidence. Over time, small gains add up, proving that effort does not need to be extreme to be effective. Mental and emotional growth also benefit from balance. You allow space for reflection, learning, and rest without demanding constant productivity. This balanced approach reduces anxiety and supports clarity. You become more patient with yourself, understanding that growth is not a race. This patience fosters resilience and a sense of inner calm. Balanced growth supports a healthier mindset. You stop measuring progress by comparison and start measuring it by how you feel. Improved energy, better sleep, and emotional steadiness become meaningful indicators of success. This internal focus creates motivation that comes from well-being rather than external validation. For older adults, balance is essential for longevity and quality of life. It supports the ability to remain active, engaged, and independent without risking health. Balanced growth allows you to invest in habits that you can maintain, creating stability rather than cycles of intensity and collapse. Choosing balance over extremes also reinforces self-respect. It communicates that your health and peace are priorities. You are no longer sacrificing your well-being for quick results or approval. This mindset creates a deeper sense of confidence and fulfillment. Growth through balance is quiet and steady. It does not demand constant attention or dramatic change. Instead, it unfolds through consistent care and thoughtful choices. By embracing balance, you allow growth to continue at every stage of life, supporting strength, clarity, and purpose in a way that feels sustainable, empowering, and aligned with who you are now and who you are still becoming when you begin to change and grow. It naturally affects the people around you, and not everyone will be comfortable with that shift. Your transformation may highlight what others are avoiding, delaying, or denying in their own lives. This discomfort is not a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is a reflection of their internal struggle. Understanding this helps you release the need to explain, justify, or slow your progress to make others feel comfortable. It is important to recognize that each person moves through life at their own pace. What feels necessary and timely for you may feel threatening or overwhelming to someone else. Your commitment to healthier habits, stronger boundaries, or a calmer mindset can serve as an unspoken mirror. Some will feel inspired by what they see, while others may feel challenged or defensive. Neither reaction is yours to manage. When you take responsibility for your own growth, you reclaim your energy. You stop spending emotional effort trying to bring others along or waiting for approval before making changes. This energy can then be invested in your well-being, allowing you to stay consistent with habits that support your health, such as nourishing meals, gentle movement, and adequate rest. Protecting this energy becomes essential for sustaining long-term change. Letting go of responsibility for others' readiness also strengthens your mindset. You begin to trust your own timing and instincts rather than doubting yourself when faced with resistance. This trust builds confidence and reduces internal conflict. You are no longer torn between self, care, and people pleasing, which creates emotional relief and clarity. As you continue to grow, you may notice shifts in relationships. Some connections may deepen as mutual respect develops, while others may naturally fade. This is not a failure, it is a realignment. Relationships that can grow alongside you will adjust to your changes, and those that cannot may no longer fit your life in the same way. Accepting this allows you to move forward without resentment or guilt. This perspective is especially important later in life, when peace and stability matter more than maintaining every connection at any cost. You begin to prioritize relationships that support your well-being and allow you to be yourself. This selective engagement creates a more nourishing emotional environment, supporting both mental and physical health. Releasing responsibility for others' growth also reinforces personal boundaries. You become more comfortable saying no, taking breaks, and honoring your needs without apology. This boundary setting is not selfish, it is necessary for maintaining balance and resilience. It allows you to show up fully where you choose to engage rather than spreading yourself too thin. Ultimately, your journey is yours alone. You cannot carry others into change, nor should you try. By focusing on your own path, you model what is possible without force or persuasion. This quiet example is more powerful than words. By honoring your growth and releasing responsibility for others' readiness, you create a life that feels aligned, peaceful, and sustainable, allowing you to move forward with confidence, compassion, and unwavering self-respect when you return after time spent growing, resting, and realigning. Most powerful change is not something you announce. It is something people feel. Reappearing aligned, calm, and grounded is the natural result of choosing yourself consistently. You are no longer driven by urgency, validation, or the need to prove anything. Your energy is steadier, your presence quieter, and your sense of self more rooted than before. Alignment shows in the way you move through the world. Your choices reflect clarity rather than impulse. You eat with intention, not perfection, choosing foods that support your energy and health because you respect your body. You move gently but consistently, honoring strength, balance, and mobility instead of pushing limits. These habits are not forced, they are integrated, and that integration creates a sense of ease that others notice immediately. Calm becomes part of your natural rhythm. You respond instead of react. You pause before speaking. You no longer rush to fill silence or justify your boundaries. This calm is not passive, it is confident. It comes from knowing where you stand and trusting your ability to care for yourself. Your nervous system reflects this stability, supporting better sleep, clearer thinking, and improved emotional regulation. Being grounded means you are present in your body and your life. You are not living in constant anticipation or regret. You notice your breath, your posture, and your surroundings. Simple routines anchor your days, providing structure without rigidity. This grounded state allows you to handle challenges with greater resilience because you are no longer easily thrown off balance. When you reappear in this state, relationships shift. Conversations become more intentional. You listen more deeply and speak more thoughtfully. You no longer overextend or take on emotional burdens that are not yours. This change may feel unfamiliar to others, but it establishes a healthier dynamic built on mutual respect rather than obligation. Your presence also becomes more selective. You show up where it matters and step back where it does not. This discernment protects your energy and reinforces your sense of purpose. You are no longer everywhere, but where you are fully there. This quality of presence is far more impactful than constant availability. Reappearing grounded also reinforces your self-trust. You know what supports your well-being and what undermines it. This awareness guides your decisions from daily habits to long-term commitments. You are less influenced by external pressure and more guided by internal alignment. This clarity brings peace and confidence that feels steady and earned. Ultimately, reappearing aligned, calm, and grounded is the true reward of stepping back. It is proof that investing in your health, mindset, and boundaries transforms not just how you feel, but how you live. You return not as someone seeking validation, but as someone anchored in self-respect. This state of being supports vitality, independence, and fulfillment, allowing you to move forward with quiet strength and a deep sense of belonging within yourself.